What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Alatorre, and today, I just cannot believe it's already November. I cannot believe we are entering the holiday season, and that means a ton of holiday events, especially during the week, especially after work events, which I think are the most, or the ones that we dread the most, because you've already been working all day long. The last thing you want to do is get ready for an event to keep it going even longer. But I thought I would show you guys in today's video some helpful tips to help you transition the makeup that you wear to work into an evening look so that you can easily get ready and you don't have to dread it as much as completely getting re-ready. Is that even a word, re-ready? Getting completely or redoing your makeup completely after work. So this look was transitioned from a daytime look, which is shocking because the daytime look looks completely different. It's a lot brighter, peachier, softer, and this is obviously amped up and vampy for an evening look. And the eyes do look pretty similar to my Urban Decay Naked Cherry launch event to Get Ready With Me, because I am using that palette today. I've partnered with Urban Decay to show you why it's great for the holidays, because I feel like when it comes to the holidays, everybody wants that perfect cranberry, plum, cherry color to their lips or their eyes or their cheeks, and this palette definitely has all those tones. And it goes from light to dark, or light to dark, so you can easily create a daytime look and an evening look. So this is the palette I'm going to be using for today's tutorial, as well as a bunch of other items that I think are great for all day wear, especially items that contain a lot of healthier ingredients if you're going to be wearing your makeup for 12 plus hours. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. So for me, I have normal combo skin. I would say it tends to lean more towards the dry side if I don't take care of it. So if you have dry skin, the one thing I recommend, regardless of what moisturizer you're using, I highly recommend incorporating a hyaluronic acid serum into your routine, because I feel like it hydrates from within and really keeps the hydration going all day long. So I've already prepped my skin with this Kale Plus, I think the name is Youth to the People. But it's the Kale Plus Tripeptide 5 Vitamin C Hyaluronic Acid Serum. So again, regardless of whatever moisturizer it is that you're using, if you tend to get drier later on in the day and your makeup starts to feel dry and cracked and cakey, apply a hyaluronic serum and it works wonders. And then if you're more towards the oily side, use a mattifying primer. So I don't really get that oily aside from my T-zone, and now that I have bangs, my bangs can start to look oily because of it. So just on the T-zone, I'm gonna use this Eborian Extra Matte Ultra Mattifying Primer. I just like to press it onto the forehead and then bring it down the sides of the nose. And I can even take my beauty blender to just further press it in. When I know I'm gonna be wearing makeup all day long, I like to either pick a super long wearing foundation, one that's a little more matte, or a foundation and other skin products that have good, healthy ingredients. So for foundation, I'm gonna start with the Lawless Woke Up Like This foundation. Annie Lawless, who created this brand, really focuses on quality, good for you ingredients. And another thing I like to do when wearing foundation all day long is to start with a really thin layer. The more flawless it looks all day long, and it's easier to touch up later versus starting off with a really heavy base. So I'm gonna sheer this foundation out with, I realized I packed it for the weekend, so I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Drop Shot Mix In Facial Oil to just sheer it out a bit. I'm gonna mix the foundation and oil together with this It Cosmetics Kabuki brush, and then I'm gonna lightly just feather it onto the skin to get a nice even layer, cover up this massive ingrown chin pimple. You know those ones that are super painful but you can't pop, they're just in there? This one is so painful. It's a little yellow, especially on camera, but I think once I add concealer, it should balance out. So I'm just gonna blend it in really well. And once I've gotten a good layer on there, I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just blend it into the skin. I just find that this really presses the foundation in. It erases any brush strokes that might be on the skin. Per the usual, I went ahead and added a little bit of this Lancome Teint Ultrawear Camouflage Concealer in shade 260 underneath my eyes and around my nose where I get a little red. And now for concealer, I'm gonna be using this new Cover FX Power Play Concealer. I used it the other day and I found that it wore for a really long time. Again, Cover FX is known for having really good ingredients, so I don't mind wearing this concealer on my face all day long. I'm gonna use the shade G Medium 1. I think last time I tried it G Plus Medium 2 and it legit looked green on my skin. Let me see if it'll show on camera. Let me see. Oh, it doesn't look that, I mean, kind of, you can see the green in it. So this is great for olive undertones, but I think it just translates a little too dark and green and not really like a true highlight color. So I'm gonna use G Medium 1 and I'm gonna go ahead and apply it underneath the eyes first, and then take my beauty blender and blend it out towards the rest of the center of the face. And then to set everything, I'm gonna be using another Lawless product. This is the Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder. It's talc free, so great for all day wear. Another talc free powder that I really love is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, Translucent Light. It also comes in a deeper shade. These are great, however, when using a talc free powder, I find that you have to use a lot more in areas that crease, because if not, for me at least, I still end up creasing up. So I'm gonna show you guys a technique with this powder, which is essentially baking, but I don't leave it on my face for a really long period of time. I'm gonna dip my beauty blender into the powder. Okay, honestly, the makeup for today is out of control. It's like in my nose, it's everywhere. Pick up the excess creasing first. I forgot to do that, so I'm gonna try and use like a clean side of the beauty blender to just pick up the creasing underneath my eye. And I'm just gonna really press the powder in, but also leave a good amount. So again, it's like baking. While we do the rest of the face, we're just gonna leave it on just for a little bit, let it sink into those creases and really lock the concealer in place. And then for the rest of the face, I'm just gonna dip my brush into the powder like I normally do and press it across the entire face. Especially the forehead. If you have bangs, bang tip. And I feel like this powder keeps the luminosity of your skin. I feel like it doesn't make you look really dehydrated. I feel like it keeps a really nice soft satin finish on the skin. I'm gonna let that sit for a bit while I fill in my brows with my Dior Brow Styler. Now that it's been sitting there for a bit and I've had a snack, I'm gonna take this little LH Cosmetics 306 brush and just dust away the powder. It'll look a little heavy for a bit, but once we use a setting mist, it'll look just fine. So for bronzer, I'm gonna be using this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Nude Bronze Light. Again, another brand with really great ingredients. I'm gonna use this to bronze up my skin like I normally would with a Smashbox Buildable Blush, Buildable Cheek brush, I believe it's called. I use it so much that the name has been wiped away, but I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly apply this bronzer to the general areas like I normally do, cheeks, forehead, jawline. Now I feel like I have a bunch of trail mix up in my teeth, so apologies if you catch that on camera. Maybe I shouldn't have told you guys, because now you're gonna be looking for it. And I'm actually gonna leave it here and move on to the eyes, because I wanna mist myself right before adding highlighter, and then I'll add blush to connect the highlighter and the bronzer together. So moving on to the eyes, I'm gonna use this Nude Sticks Magnetic Matte Eye Color in the shade Putty as my base. You guys know I love these. They last forever on the eyes, at least on mine they do. They're very like crease resistant, they don't budge, and this color is perfect as a base. It's just really neutral. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that all over the lid. And then we're gonna dip into the Naked Cherry palette to create the daytime look. So with this pencil, I'm gonna start along the lash line. I'm gonna blend it up towards the crease. I didn't apply any foundation or concealer onto my lid, FYI. We're only gonna be using this. But if you prefer to use your concealer or foundation, maybe you have some more discoloration and a skin tone base like this isn't gonna cut it for you, feel free to do so as well. Just make sure you set with powder so that way it locks in the concealer or foundation and prevents it from creasing. I'm gonna apply this up to the crease, and then I'm gonna take this LH 304 brush and just blend out the edges. So it's like the pencil is meeting up with the foundation and concealer that I did apply to the brow bone. And then I'm gonna take my fingertip and blend this out. So it's got a little bit of color to it, but still really light and neutral. Perfect for a light daytime look. Another reason I wanted to use putty versus like a sheer eyeshadow base is because it leaves a really nice texture. So when I build on this color, the darker shimmery shadows that I'm gonna be applying to the lid are really gonna pop. The first color I'm gonna be using is Juicy, and I'm just gonna apply it to the crease and really blend it out so it looks super, super soft on the eyes. And for this, I'm using a Smith 232 brush, my absolute favorite blending brush. And I'm also gonna apply that same color to the lower lash line. And then to bring in some of those dusty rose cherry tones, I'm gonna use Feels right here, which is like a nice soft dusty plum. And I'm gonna apply that to the outer portion of the crease and lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take that same blending brush and really buff everything out so it looks super soft. So it's kind of like a cool take on a daytime look. Instead of just tossing bronzer into the crease, which is what I normally do, it's more of like a soft, pinky, all matte. Why do I always drop something in my videos? I love that it's completely matte and it's like a soft rose color. So I'm actually gonna just leave it here with the eyes. I was gonna continue blending, but I dropped my brush, so let me grab another clean one. Just, again, keep buffing this out. I'm gonna mist myself with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is a part of the Naked Cherry collection, so it is cherry scented, and I just absolutely love the size of their travel all-nighter sprays. I still have my one from the Born to Run collection, and I love that they make them themed, and I don't know, there's just something that I really love about these, and I definitely take these with me on my travels because it is the best setting spray. It also helps to melt all the makeup to the skin to make it look more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mist the high points. It smells so good. So I can go in with highlighter. I'm gonna be using Sex Posé by Artist Couture. This is the Diamond Luxe Luminizer. So I'm gonna let the skin dry down a bit, and then I'm gonna take a small brush and just swirl this highlighter onto the high points of the face. It does have a nice, really soft like pink undertone to it, so it's gonna match the eyes really well. Also, on the brow bone, it's okay if it goes into the brow hairs because we're just gonna brush it out. You can also do a light sweep right here where there's no eyeshadow, just to add a little bit of like a glossy effect, but it won't affect the darker eyeshadows that are gonna go on later. You can still layer on shadow over top of this. See how it just gives like a nice glossy effect? And then up here as well, which doesn't really matter for me anymore because of the bangs, but I still do it out of habit. Bridge of the nose, Cupid's bow. And I'm definitely not gonna highlight my chin because of this massive pimple. It'll just make it stand out more. And then I'm gonna take that large powder brush and kind of blend everything out. And then for blush, I actually read an article by Sir John, Beyonce's makeup artist, and he said his trick for long wearing makeup is to layer cream products with powder products. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do for blush, because for me, I tend to touch my face a lot throughout the day and I get streaks in my powder blush, or it just seems to disappear throughout the day because I constantly touch my face. So I'm gonna layer on Purity, which is the lip and cheek pencil from my collaboration with Nude Sticks. And I'm gonna use it as a blush. So the way I use this as blush is I kind of just warm it up on my hand like this. And then you take your beauty blender, you pick up the blush, and then you just stipple it onto your skin like this. And then later on, if I feel like I need more blush, I'll go in with a powder blush that has a similar tone. But this to me lasts a really long time. These lip and cheek pencils, because they're matte, they stay on the cheeks and on the lips as well, and do not budge all day long. And then one more time, I'm just gonna take a blending brush and kind of buff this out just so that the shimmer blends in to the matte eyeshadow a little better. And then again, I'm gonna mist the entire face now with the All Nighter Setting Spray and then go in with mascara. Oh, and I almost forgot, I also wanna use this Artist Couture highlighter for an inner corner highlight because I feel like no daytime look is complete without a little pop on the inner corners. And then I can go in with mascara. And for the daytime lip, which I might actually keep for the nighttime look as well because I want to go really dramatic with the eyes and keep the lips really nude and natural, I'm going to use my go-to combo, which I wear daily, especially when I know I'm going to be like running errands and don't want to touch up my lip. I'm gonna be eating. It's like a no fuss go-to lip for me. I've mentioned this combo in my last favorites video. It's the Urban Decay Stark Naked 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil. Look how small it is. With the cap, it looks so ridiculous. Look at this. I need a new one for sure. So it's Stark Naked Lip Liner and Hi-Fi Shine Gloss in Fuel. I absolutely love the color of this lip liner. It just makes my lips look bigger, but not like I actually overlined them, even though I did. This seriously has to be my favorite lip combo. It's so effortless, just a gloss and a lip liner, and it's so perfect for daytime wear, and your lips don't get dry when you wear this because it's nice and glossy. So yeah, that is the completed daytime look. A few tips I want to share with you guys before transitioning this eye look into an evening look. A couple things that I would carry around in my to-go makeup bag. The first one being the all-nighter setting spray, because you can always use a midday refresher. Also, when you're touching up your makeup later in the day, it's always good to have something to melt it back into the skin so that the areas that you touched up don't look powdery. Foundation powder, my go-to is definitely the Bare Minerals Bare Pro press because it's easy to travel with. But another great one that's going to give you a little more coverage is the original formula. It just gives a little more of a foundation effect versus this guy. I think this one is just going to give you more coverage if that's what you're looking for. A brush, preferably like one buffing brush and one eyeshadow brush so you can touch those areas up as well. Maybe multiple eyeshadow brushes depending on the eye look that you're doing. The eyeshadow palette that you're going to use to darken up your eyeshadow with. And then what else is really important? Always bring the lip with you. Makeup wipes and blotting papers are optional because you can always use toilet seat covers. They work great. Just make sure that they are in a very clean and sanitary restroom. Since I'm just jumping right into transitioning this into an evening look, I feel like the foundation still looks really good, but I'm gonna show you guys how I would touch up my foundation if that was the case. I'm gonna use the loose because I like the additional coverage. You take your buffing brush, swirl it into that foundation powder, and then you just kind of go across the entire face very lightly to add some more coverage, mattify. For me, it's always the nose that tends to kind of separate and appear on the forehead. So this is a great way to just add a little more coverage. And then again, you're gonna wanna go in with the setting mist to just melt it all down, make it look cohesive with the rest of your makeup. And see how clean and fresh that looks? Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna take Sir John's trick with the blush and just kind of layer on a little more to further make it pop, even though I don't necessarily need it because I'm gonna keep the nude lip. Normally I like to amp up the blush if I'm doing a dark lip. So just in case you do wanna do a bold lip, you can add a little more blush. I'm gonna be using Bare Mineral Beige for Days. I'm gonna use that same brush, the large powder brush, and just dust it onto the cheeks, just like that. And then obviously if you were oily, you would blot before doing all of these steps. And then you can mist yourself, but I feel like I like the way the skin looks right now, so I'm not gonna mist myself. But if you started to look powdery, that's when you would go in with your mist. I'm gonna go directly into eyeshadow next. So from the Naked Cherry palette, I'm gonna really smoke out this eyeshadow, deepen up the look. The first color I'm gonna go in with is Devilish over here. And I'm gonna apply this to the crease and the lower lash line. So I'm gonna start out here in this corner and buff it into the crease. And for the evening look, I'm also gonna further extend the eyeshadow out in this direction. And then with a flat synthetic brush, I'm gonna pick up Drunk Dial over here to really create that smoky effect along the lid. And then I'm gonna mist it with the All Nighter setting spray, so that way it goes on easily on top of that highlighter that I applied for the daytime look. And then I'm gonna take that same brush that I was first using and blend this purple eyeshadow into the crease. And then I wanna create a really smoky lash line, so I'm gonna pick up Privacy and only run that shadow along the upper and lower lash line using this really small, tiny, precise brush. So using the very tip of this brush, I'm gonna run it along the lash line. And then for the final step, I'm gonna fill in the waterline with Love Drug, also from the Naked Cherry collection. All right, that completes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me transition the daytime look into this evening look. I shared a lot of tips and tricks that should hopefully have you feeling confident when having to go straight from work to a party. I know that's my least favorite thing to do. Not that I have to work an office job, but if I'm at home working all day and I have a lot to do, the last thing I want to do is full on get ready and stress about it to go to an event. So hopefully you find this helpful if you already have your makeup done during the day to help you get ready really quickly and easily. It doesn't have to be super dramatic like adding a bold lip or removing the makeup and doing it all over again. You can easily just darken up the eyeshadow and use all these tips to get ready really quickly. It shouldn't have to take a long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to give it a like, share it, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As Ellen says, remember, oops, that failed. As Ellen says, remember to be kind to one another, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.